Andrew, what really stood out to me, man, just from watching your highlight video, is just how well you maneuver the pocket. Just being a former quarterback myself, but being able when you needed to escape outside or step up inside, and the rollouts and stuff like that, just how well you maneuvered, and just also stepping into the pocket, up in it, and still delivering the ball when you're taking a shot. That takes some guts, man. So very commend you on that. So my suggestion for your highlight video are the following. Okay, first thing is to have an information slide and have this at the very beginning. The best way to go about this is to do this on Canva. All right, it is free. You want to put the information on this slide you'll make for Canva. You need to have your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number. Okay, put that information on the left, put a picture of you on the right, download that from Canva, and then upload that to the very first thing on your Huddle highlight video. Okay, and the reason being why we like to do this is because that way a coach has all the information they need on you. Okay, they've got your height and weight, which a coach always wants to have. They'll have your X account information, so that way they know how to go follow you, and they also have your phone number. And the thing with the X account and the phone number and the email, they don't have to try to go search for that stuff, because a college coach's time is very short and valuable, and they don't have time to go find that information. I've seen coaches pass on kids if they don't have that info in front of them, or they don't know how to get it. They will just pass on a kid because they don't have the time to go search for it. So we want to make sure we have that easily accessible for those coaches. Okay. Second thing, edit some of your play clips more so of just to finish out the entire play. Okay, there's some on here. I would assume it's a touchdown, but you don't want to give that coach a little bit of a doubt. It's going to take maybe extra 6 seconds max on some of these plays. Okay, so just add those in there. All right, and that'll kind of help just the flow. Sometimes coaches just want to see the full play, how everything plays out, maybe how you respond to something or something like that. Okay, so just edit those clips just a little bit. All right, third thing, excuse me, is remove captions. Okay, and kind of to give you an example right here is at the 420 mark in just this portion right here. Okay, so basically just change the spot shadow right around you. And the reason that we want to do that, all right, is so because we don't want to have anything that's going to distract a college recruiter from evaluating film. Okay, we don't want them. And when these guys do this, they're in a room, and this is how I did it too. You sit in a dark room, you watch 60 to 100 kids a day, and so sometimes you just don't want you. Sometimes it throws off the flow of how they're watching and evaluating a player. Okay, and so we just don't want anything that's going to distract them from that. All right, and then next is going to your sequence of plays. Okay, and before I move on to the sequence of plays, going to kind of your edit plays and removing the captions, make sure you put a spot shadow around you in every clip. Yes, they know you're the quarterback, but they don't necessarily. It's when sometimes the running back and quarterbacks line up against each other, it just makes it look more professional if all clips are spot shadowed. Okay, because you had some on here that are spot shadowed and some that weren't. So just make sure we clean all that up. All right. Next, back to like I was saying, the sequence of plays. Okay, we want to do this in sections. All right, they'll kind of help flow. Okay, and we want to base all of your stuff within each section from pass to run. All right, so we want to start off with long touchdowns. Okay, your best 3 to 5 to 6 clips in that section of long touchdowns, pass to run. Okay, you got a long pass, put those. Then you got a long run, put those towards the end. All right, same thing. Go to your short touchdowns. Okay, and then we want to go to in your short touchdowns or anything 25 and in, basically that red zone time frame. Then we go to your movements. This is kind of your rollout into the pocket, you running, that type of deal. Okay, and then we go to your explosive. That's anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field, and then finish that off with the remaining offensive highlights. Okay, and this is more not necessarily an explosion, but a good play that'll showcase what you can do still. All right. And what I've done here is that each of these sections, I've put the top plays that I believe you should use. Okay, this is the ones you should start out with, and then follow with plays 2, 3, 4, 5, and possibly 6. All right, because we want to keep this highlight video within 3 to 4 to 5 minutes max. Okay, like I said, they're in a short time window, and we want to put your best plays forward, because after a minute, like I said, they're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day. If after a minute they don't see something that's really going to keep them watching, okay, they're going to go on to the next kid. So that's why we want to put those top plays in each section. All right, so to go over the plays that I chose for you, okay, we're going to first go to the 132 mark here. All right, see, boom, right here. Okay, just to show off the arm strength. All right, great ball. And this is what I'm talking about. Just let him finish running that route. Okay, making sure he didn't get knocked out of bounds or something like that. Okay, so finish that plays out, shows off your arm strength and everything else. Then next, going to the 146 mark here. Okay, this is for your short touchdown. And the reason I chose this is just throwing a great little 2-ball here, right over that safety, right into the back end part of the end zone. Okay, you've got some other ones where the short run, where it's one line ball. Throw some of those in there, kind of just showcase all what you can do. Okay. And then your movement plays, all right? This is kind of how I would rank them, okay? This is just me of what I believe, all right? So at the 20-second mark here, all right, just being able to maneuver the pocket, like I said, guys hanging on you, but it shows your strength of being able to still get out. Yes, is it just a 5, 10-yard pass, okay? But it still shows how you can move that well in the pocket, right? I really like seeing that as a former offense coordinator and a former quarterback coach and former quarterback, okay? Just being able to move helps out, all right? Then go into this play at the 9-second mark, all right? Really love this one. Shows being able to step up into the pocket, but then also making an off-balance throw with the defender right on it, okay? And putting the ball exactly where it needs to be, okay? That's a great job there. Now, the next one here at the 459 mark, right? Like I said, that was kind of your passes, all right? And then you can go to your runs here, okay? This is just a good run to show your strength, all right? Be able to break tackles, okay? Then it also shows off some of that long speed, all right? That's why I love that one right there, okay? So, like I said, you've got other ones in there. Mix those ones in there on that side of it and kind of go from there. Go into your explosive then at the 243 mark, all right? Boom, right here. Okay, this for an explosive, a hole shot. If you got a hole shot like this, put it on there. That is a very tough throw. Okay, very tough throw. Show off that arm strength. Show where you're putting the ball, saving it before the safety comes over here and gives them a hit. Okay, that's a great ball there. Definitely need to have that one in your huddle highlight video and put it up towards the front. Okay, and then lastly, for your kind of remaining, just kind of give an example. Like I said, it's not an explosion, but show what you can still do. Making that off balance throw there. Okay, that's a great job. Having to get the body turned, get the shoulders, boom, defender comes in quick. Usually, like as an OC, for him to go underneath, but sometimes they go so far upfield, they got to cut it right there. So both is all, but so that's where you as a player make a great decision and let him get, yes, he gets maybe tackled, but he's able to break a tackle. And instead of taking a sack, you get a 2-3 yard gain. Okay, you're going to take that as an OC. All right, great job there. So, like I said, add that information slide. Okay, edit those plays, make them go longer. Okay, remove that caption, change up those spot shadows, change your sequence of plays, put those best plays within those sections, best 3, 4, 5, 6 plays. All right, overall, this will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. Okay, I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. Okay, like I said, that's out the film I'm seeing. You update your film, could be completely different. All right, so this is where you want to change some things up, and things could, the evaluation could even be higher just from changing things up sometimes. All right, but to go off of this is based on a few criteria. Okay, first thing is graduation year. All right, we're there. It's 2026 is over. It's right now on the 2027. But let's use this as an advantage. All right, you have an off season. You've got off season. You're down in Texas. You guys got spring ball. Okay, most of them do down there. Your off season, you have mid season highlight and a full season highlight you're going to be able to put out. Okay, use this as an advantage. You got size, mobility, accuracy, and arm strength. Those are the things that a college quarterback coach is going to look at. Okay, so with that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are upper NAI and then lower to mid D2. Okay, now you should start getting interest from these schools at these levels. Okay, and if not offers yet, all right, and if not, you need to start the communication process with these coaches right now through emailing and calling them. Okay, because they're somewhat thinking about spring ball. Some of them are still recruiting. Okay, because when they get done with spring ball, they got to know where they're going to go visit schools in the spring recruiting portion. All right, so we need to make sure we're in the communication process so we know that they're going to come to our school to come talk to our coaches. Okay, you start getting your name out there through social media and DMing these coaches. Make sure you're following them on X. Okay, make sure you're marketing and bringing yourself in the correct way. Also, doing things on the field and off the field the right way, especially as the quarterback. You're the leader of the team. Okay, but here's the deal. Like I said, we're in the communication with these coaches. All right, we're putting our name out there and everything else. They're going to invite you to these camps. We want to make sure we're attending the right camps. Okay, with these levels. All right, because you're going to develop more of a relationship with them, and you'll be able to introduce yourself easier to these coaches. Okay, you'll be able to have more of a group setting one-on-one. Sometimes when you go to these 1,000 to 2,000 people mega camps, it is a lot easier to get hidden. Okay, and it's harder to get noticed by coaches. As a college coach, when I went to those and attended before, you get like a 40-page paper with a bunch of kids' names on it, and it's very hard to focus on one kid and see what certain things and stuff like that, and things you want to see, because sometimes when in the smaller settings, they say, hey, we're going to do one-on-ones, hey, run this route unless you throw this type of ball. Okay, so just to kind of take that coaching from them and see how you're going to develop from coaching, you can get that a little bit easier, right? So it helps us kind of put our money better to better camps in that aspect of it, all right? But here's the deal. You've developed relationships with them at the camp. You've talked to them and everything. Now, when you send them that midseason highlight, you're going to have that relationship with them. They're going to know who they're watching, okay? But also, how can we also go attack these levels and get better? My suggestion to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing you got to work on is accuracy. Okay, always got to work on accuracy as a quarterback. You're doing catch and throw drills, okay, simulating throwing bubbles, fast screens, and quick game, okay, getting out as quick as possible. Doing our drop drills. Because as a quarterback, you know everything starts from the ground up. Okay, if the feet aren't right, everything else. If the feet are right, everything else is going to have a chance. Okay, working on mechanic drills. Aim small, miss small. Okay, college football, the windows get smaller as the defenders get faster. Okay, working on film study. We've got to keep learning on the lead the receivers open, okay, at all 3 levels, knowing where those windows will be at, knowing if I got covered 2, I can't throw my corner route flatter. I've got to keep them higher away from that sinking corner, okay, if we don't have anything threatening the flat, all right? Going to arm strength, okay, this is going to be through core, leg strength, that's going to help create more throwing velocity, have to have more zip on that ball, like I said, to account for those faster players, but also, like I said, we're working from the ground up, okay, that upper body is going to help because we keep working on all arm, as in a former quarterback, the arm's going to get tired and it's going to get heavy, okay, doing squats, exercises in that deal will help with the explosion for the power, okay. Going to a footwork drill, shuffling weave between, over back, working on figure 8 with cones, gap pressure simulation drills, just like you're showing on film. Keep working on it. Don't be satisfied with it. Okay, have to always get better. Have a good base while doing these and have a football in the hand. Okay, this is going to help your mobility and your pocket awareness, like we've talked about, which can translate to the college level even more. Okay, they're looking for guys that are mobile in today's game, so we got to keep adding that to our game, keep building on that, get better. Work on ball security, have that thing high and tight. You can practice it when you're doing footwork drills or sprints, because if we can't protect the ball, and as a quarterback, we can either fumble or interceptions. If we can't protect it, your chance of playing is going to go down. Lastly, as a quarterback too, working on flexibility. Okay, this is pre and post training stretching. All right. If you guys don't as a team, make sure you're doing it. That's that individual work. Make sure we're doing it before we go to bed, when we wake up. Okay, all the time, taking care of our arm. Make sure you're icing and everything else, because this is going to help injury prevention. Okay, your best ability is your availability. If we've got tweaks tweaks and bangs and stuff like that in high school, that's going to hurt our chances of video, which is going to hurt us getting an offer. Then you go to the college level too. Okay, the same premise of if we're not making the depth chart because we're hurt, that's going to hurt us in that stance. Okay, so make your best ability is your availability. Remember that. All right. But these improvements are what a quarterback college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation, possibly an opportunity at the upper D2 level. All right. But Andrew, at the end of the day, everything will come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media and your relationship building with college coaches, which is why the next step is your athlete interview. You're going to interview with the coach and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. Okay. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.